Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make is a very quick cranberry bread, or you could call it a cake. So let's get started. You can use your hand mixer if you don't want to use your stand mixer for this recipe. But first, let's get our dry ingredients together. And we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder into that. We're also going to put in a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and we're going to put a teaspoon of cinnamon in, and then we're just going to stir that together with my spoon, and then I'm going to set it aside for the moment. Okay. Now in the mixer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1/2 cup of butter. If you don't have butter or you don't want to use butter, go ahead and use margarine. I cut it up into little pieces because it is easier, I think, to cream and break up. And I've had it at room temperature. And then I'm just going to start to cream that. Now while that's creaming, what you're going to need next is sugar, granulated sugar, and you're going to need a half a cup, which I'm going to start putting in and beating it in with the butter. And just beat that until it's well combined and smooth. I'm going to raise my speed a little bit. Okay. The next thing we're going to add is 1 egg. And I've also had that at room temperature. And I just want to beat it all together until everything's combined and smooth. And I raised my speed so I could do that. And I'm just going to get to the bottom of my mixing bowl here and clean up my sides. And then it does look like it needs just a little bit more of it to be beaten, just so that it becomes very pale yellow and it's really smooth. Okay, and I want to show that to you. Pick a little of that up, and it will look like this. Okay. All right, now the next thing that we're going to do is start putting in our dry ingredient, which we've already put together and stirred. And then I'm going to just start off low so it doesn't go all over. There we go. I'm just going to raise my speed just a little bit. The next thing that we're going to be putting in is 1 14-ounce can of whole berry cranberry sauce. And this is the whole berry. So I'm just going to put that in with the dry. There we go. And then this is, I'm just going to beat it in till it becomes moistened, because I don't want to overbeat it. So just till it becomes moistened. I'm going to raise my speed just for a second. And let's see, I'm going to take my paddle off here. There we go. And I'll get my excess off here. And set that aside. Okay. And then just with my spatula, I'm going to go ahead and combine everything. Just kind of fold it together, get to the bottom of the mixing bowl and clean up the sides here. Okay, and then it will look like this. All right. Now, I'm going to use this particular pan because I wanted to make 6 individual little cakes that I'm going to be serving on Thanksgiving. But if you don't have one of these, pans, just go ahead and use your 8 by 4 by 1/2 inch regular loaf pan. It'll bake up beautifully in that, okay? And what I like to do is I just, with a large tablespoon here, I just put the, and I do grease the pan. You might find if you're using the loaf pan where you can just spray it with your butter spray or your oil spray, but in this particular pan I do prefer to grease it well. And then I just fill them up about halfway, level them off, and then they're put in a 350-degree oven. These little 6 cakes took about 30 minutes to bake up. Now if you're going to be using the loaf pan, then it's going to take you a bit longer. It's still going to be 350 degrees, but it's going to take you anywhere from an hour and probably an hour and 15 minutes if you bake the whole the loaf of this recipe. What else I did was, and I will have the recipe below, I made a little strudel top for it with butter, flour, a little bit of water, and cinnamon. And what I do is I just sprinkle the tops very well with it before I put it in the oven. Now I have some to show you. Let me just rinse my hands quickly. What they look like once they are baked up, and here they are. They really come out so pretty. These 6 little cakes, or if you're gonna, go ahead and use your loaf pan, but they come out a beautiful golden brown. You can see the strudel, the topping that I put on, I put it on quite heavily, and I'm just going to cut this in half to show you what the cake actually looks like on the inside. It's a very moist but very light little cranberry cake, or bread if you prefer to call it that, but it's not real chewy or real dense or heavy. It's really quite light in texture. So there you have it, very quick little cranberry bread or cake. And if you do want to put nuts in it, put whatever type of chopped nuts that you'd like, a walnut or a pecan or whatever. You should probably use at least about a cup if you're going to go ahead and put nuts into this recipe, and they will come out really spectacular for you. So that's it for now. I appreciate you watching. If you try the recipe and you like it, leave a comment, because I do like to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.